All right, in our previous video, Algorithmic Stablecoins Explained, we discussed how most seniorage, well, really all seniorage supply tokens work. However, many people have gotten back to me. I've gotten private messages. I've gotten a comment or two that said, hey, what about this project? What about this project? They seem to have a little bit more than this. And most projects out there have mechanics added trying to prevent a death spiral. In the next video, we're going to be talking about what are some of the mechanics that exist right now with other projects where they're attempting to prevent the death spiral. However, please understand, today we're talking about the algorithmic stablecoins and their death spiral. We're talking about what is it and what causes it. And it's important, if you're going to invest in algorithmic stablecoins, they are high-risk investments that you can make a lot of profit with. And I'll cover part of my strategy with them a little bit later on in this series. But if you understand the timing of the projects and how they work and the phases that each project goes through, and you can monitor those phases, that's going to allow you to increase your chances of being able to A, make profit, and B, not get wrecked when it goes south. Because if you're not aware that these projects are susceptible to a death spiral, and you're not looking for it, then I'm going to tell you right now, you will get crushed, and there's literally no way out. And the first time this happens to you, it is totally unexpected, because you think that the price is going to have a gradual collapse if it happens, and you feel like you'll have time to either take profits or to get out. But I'm going to tell you that when a death spiral happens, it is a sharp and sudden move down in price, and there is no stopping it. With Iron Finance, and I'll probably cover that in a later video in the series as well, but when it collapsed, I knew what to watch for. I knew exactly what to watch for. That allowed me to get out before that project collapsed, and I got out with incredible profits. Yet other people, Mark Cuban most notably, got crushed in that thing, and Twitter blew up when Iron Finance collapsed. But most people basically got screwed because they did not understand the weakness of most algorithmic stablecoin, and the fundamental weakness is their susceptibility to the death spiral. So today we're looking at this. In the previous video, we talked about how a lot of these seniorage supply stablecoins have a peg token, a share token, and a bond mechanism. When the price is above peg, everything's going pretty well. Everybody, people are holding the share token, they're making money, everything's going well. If you're holding the peg token and price goes up, then even though it's supposed to be at $1, but if it's trading at $2, then guess what? You've still made more money in USD value, and that's ultimately what most people care about, is how much money they're holding in USD value. So you're still doing well. So the peg token holders are doing great if the price is above peg. Share token holders are doing great because the boardroom's printing every TWAP. If you don't know what that is, go back and watch the previous video, which is this video right here. And no one's buying bonds probably, or if people have bonds, maybe they've cashed them in and they're making money. When the price is above peg, everything is good. Now, I will tell you that if you ever see the price substantially above peg, and this oftentimes happens when a project is brand new, but be very leery the higher above peg a project is. I have seen the peg token on a US dollar stablecoin project go as high as $20. When that happens, I mean, it's almost euphoric. People are excited. They are thrilled. But the higher that the price goes above peg, if it starts getting, it's supposed to be at $1, starts getting at $2, $3, $4, I'm always a little bit leery, because anything that goes up will come down far faster and far quicker than people realize. And anytime that I see a token that is trading at an enormous multiple, higher than what it's supposed to be, if it's supposed to be pegged to 1 ETH and it's trading at like 5 ETH, then I know the odds of a death spiral are going to be far, far greater. The reason seniorage supply algorithmic stablecoins like this have not succeeded is only because of human emotion. That is it. Logically, they should work. I mean, the design of them is absolutely genius. But currently they don't work because human emotion is always irrational. So just be mindful of that. When you're investing in these projects, any crypto project, it doesn't matter how great the project is. It's the human emotions around the project and the human emotions of the investors that matter the most. So let's talk about what happens when a death spiral happens. When price falls below peg, fundamentally, it's just a much more negative time during most communities of these projects. Because imagine, let's talk about who loses money. And when you have a lot of people losing money, losing value, then you're going to have people that have a lot more negative sentiment. And that means the overall market for that project is going to be negative. So if you're holding the PEG token, let's just say it's pegged to $1 to keep it simple, and you've got, 10,000 of these things, and then all of a sudden it goes from being traded at $1 to all of a sudden it's getting traded at 90 cents. Now your $10,000 is only 9,000. And I will tell you, because historically most people know that these things usually fail, the most important time for a project, or the time that it's going to be most susceptible to a death spiral, is the very first time that the PEG token loses its peg. If you have 10,000 PEG tokens and all of a sudden it's trading at 90 cents, now you have 9,000. That doesn't feel very good. And guess what else? If you're holding the share token is not making money if the price is not above peg at the end of a TWAP or the end of an epoch. If the TWAP price, and if you don't know what TWAP and epoch is, go back and watch this video right here to get the full explanation. If the price is not above peg at the end of the epoch, then nobody who's holding the share tokens, they're not earning any rewards either. It's why most of the time if there's a boardroom that people stake their share tokens, there'll be a time limit. Like you got to wait 24 hours or 12 hours before you can withdraw your tokens. It's to try, the goal of that's a newer implementation, by the way. When these projects came out, they didn't originally have that implementation. But the reason they have that is to try to prevent people from acting emotionally, hoping that the price will pop back up above peg. Now, the interesting thing is the share token price actually has very little to do with the actual peg price. Meaning if the share token goes up to $50,000 or drops to $500, it's not going to change the peg token. But it does increase negative market sentiment if people are not getting profits in the boardroom and the price of their share tokens has dropped. You got people who probably own some share tokens and they own some pegs, and now they're losing money on both projects. The price has lost its peg. There's always concern, is it going to regain the peg? If it doesn't regain the peg, then the whole thing's over with. But what about the bond mechanism? I mean, aren't bonds supposed to help it regain peg? Well, so this is the fundamental flaw. The idea is you can take your peg tokens, buy bonds 1-to-1. And when you do that, you burn your peg tokens, decreasing the supply with the hope of the peg price going back up. And then you can redeem your bonds for a premium. That is the hope. But this is the problem. Bonds only go on sale through the protocol once price is below peg. Bond tokens are not liquid. You can't sell them. The moment you buy bonds, you are bonded literally to the platform and you're stuck. The peg token, if the peg token drops below $1 and it goes to 90 cents, you can still sell it. If it goes to 80 cents, you can still sell it. If it goes to 50 cents, you can still sell it. So it's very difficult to expect investors unless they fundamentally believe in the project. And most people are trying to play crypto projects for a profit. When selling always creates more selling, buying always creates more buying. That's how it typically works. So at some point, people get nervous and they start selling. And once you have people selling the peg token, people might be selling their share token, and you see all the prices dropping. It's just a negative environment. The price loses peg. Maybe if it goes down to 99 cents, it regains the peg back to $1. If it goes down to 98 cents, it regains it. Maybe if it goes down to 90 cents, some projects have been able to regain the peg. But at some point, when you have people start selling, and there'll be so many sellers that there's not enough peg tokens available that could be swapped for bonds to be able to decrease the supply. And at that point, you've entered a death spiral. There is no recovery. All current investors could take their peg tokens and buy bonds, and it still would not restrict the supply enough to affect price. And you don't have enough buyers to come in and buy the peg price up. That's a death spiral. It's over with. It is game over. So in the next video, I'm going to be showing you some of the strategies projects have used or are currently using to do two things. A, support the bond mechanism by not relying on it so heavily. And B, to be able to do things to help support the peg token so we don't see the peg token run way up to, 3, 4, 5, 8, 10x. That's not healthy for the protocol, and it increases the odds of a death spiral. But at the same time, being able to do some things that can help prevent the peg token from losing peg in the first place. We'll be covering that in the next video. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn how you can earn $1,000 or more per day, be sure to go down in the description and subscribe to our free video course that has not launched yet. It will be launching here in a few days. It reveals a little known method to earn $1,000 per day. Learn how to earn a long-term passive income with this unique crypto investment. Very few people are talking about this. Very few people even know this exists. But it's incredible, and these projects typically can outlast the stablecoin, algorithmic stablecoins in most cases. With that being said, I want to make this very clear. I'm covering this project for two reasons. I want you to understand this exists, and I want to help do my part to help educate you in the world of crypto as far as the mechanics, cryptocurrency, what these projects are doing. I also want you to be able to have the information to develop your own strategy to profit in these projects, should you choose to go into them. The other thing is, I am fundamentally supportive of algorithmic stablecoins. I believe wholeheartedly we would increase mass adoption in a decentralized way if we could have true decentralized algorithmic stablecoins. But at this point, there are no uncollateralized, truly decentralized algorithmic stablecoins that exist yet that have succeeded, that have stood the test of time. There are plenty of projects right now trying, but we'll have to see what happens in the coming years as they mature. Can they continue to do well? I'm like some of these projects. I follow some of these projects, and I'll tell you part of my strategy. I'll go into my personal strategy a little bit later, but part of my strategy is when I make profit on one of these projects, I usually like to leave a little bit in there. I want to continue to watch it, continue to monitor it, because I'm always hoping that either the project is going to end up doing well long term, or I'm hoping that what ends up happening, they end up creating some sort of mechanic that gets used, because this space is always evolving. One project uses a mechanic, it gets a pretty good result. The next project is probably going to have that mechanic, and they're going to add their own mechanic to help make it a little bit better as well. And so you're always seeing innovation, and I love that. So I feel like even if a project fails, as long as I don't lose too much money and or I'm able to make money, I feel like I'm truly a part of exciting innovation just to be here. And if you love cryptocurrency, then you know this space is all about innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Do me a favor and smash that like button if this video has been informative. Decentralized cryptocurrency equals freedom. This is Crypto Wealth. I'm out.